Column: Taylor Sheridan's Landman needs less fossil fuel propaganda. A recent episode of Landman, the latest Western soap opera dreamed up by Yellowstone co-creator Taylor Sheridan, was packed with thrilling interpersonal drama in Texas oil and gas country. Soft-spoken Cooper Norris, Jacob Lofland, challenges bare-knuckled attorney Rebecca Falcone, Kayla Wallace, demanding larger settlements for the families of oil field workers who died on the job. Oil kingpin Monty Miller, Jon Hamm, frustrated by the negotiations, has a heart attack. Tommy Norris, Bob Thornton, Miller's loyal lieutenant and Cooper's dad, confronts his son about the romantic entanglement that led him to get involved. I was captivated, and then briefly, I was distracted and confused, continuing a trend that has plagued the Paramount Plus streaming series from the start. An otherwise entertaining scene became a vehicle for a random diatribe against renewable energy and climate change activists. In this episode, Tommy Norris' teenage daughter Ainsley, Michelle Randolph, goes for a nighttime swim in an oil refinery reservoir with her love interest, Ryder Mitchell Slaggart, the two of them illuminated by the flame of a methane gas flare. She asks about gas explosions being bad for the environment. Ryder is dismissive. "Well, I can promise you all those Chinese lithium mines are bad for the environment," he tells her. They say that cattle burp is bad for the environment. Now, they want to get rid of all the cattle. He quickly pivots to additional criticisms of environmentalists. They put solar panels and wind turbines on these lands that kill these birds, disrupt their patterns, he claims. Then they stick them in the ocean and kill the whales. As with all the most effective misinformation, it was built on kernels of truth. Lithium mines can in fact cause environmental damage. Not that it's anywhere near as bad as the heat waves, fires, and floods of the climate crisis. Cows are indeed major sources of heat-trapping carbon emissions. Not that there's any chance we'll get rid of all the cattle. And yes, solar and wind farms can harm birds, although not nearly as much as global warming, which is why the National Audubon Society supports such projects. As for offshore wind farms killing whales, it's an absurd lie spread by President-elect Trump and other fossil fuel supporters. Despite being repeatedly debunked by scientists and journalists, these are just a few of the misleading claims sprinkled throughout Landman. They're emblematic of the show's biggest flaw. As entertaining as it can be when Sheridan focuses on the riveting characters, he can't stop getting in his own way with propaganda that serves to leonize the oil industry. These are just a few of the misleading claims sprinkled throughout Landman. They're emblematic of the show's biggest flaw. As entertaining as it can be when Sheridan focuses on the riveting characters, he can't stop getting in his own way with propaganda that serves to leonize the oil industry. My jaw dropped when I heard that line. Sure, some left-leaning environmentalists see the oil industry as evil, but the whole world, what universe is Sheridan living in? Maybe Hamm's Monty Miller is so aggravated by climate activists that he really does believe what he's saying. But it's hard not to feel like Sheridan is throwing red meat to conservative viewers when he should be focusing on entertainment. Again and again, his characters interrupt otherwise interesting storylines to emphasize that society couldn't possibly function with less oil and gas, despite mountains of evidence to the contrary. At one point, Thornton's character says there's nobody to blame for oil production and climate change but the demand that we keep pumping, a common fossil fuel industry argument, and one that ignores the industry's role in electing friendly politicians and lobbying to maintain billions of dollars in subsidies. Getting oil out of the ground's the most dangerous job in the world, Thornton's character says, making himself and his colleagues out to be heroes. We don't do it 'cause we like it. We do it 'cause we run out of options.